Alright, Schlockmeister fans, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Her only nude scene in the movie, The Working Girls. Let's check it out. So this is Honey. She's just come to Hollywood, LA. She has no money, but she wants some barbecue.
Close at 9, cutie pie.
Well, I can.
She basically offers up herself to pay for it.
Then it's never.
Look, I'm not going to let you take a loss. I mean, it's just too expensive.
It's okay, I'm a very, very charitable person.
Well, our whole economy is falling apart. Inflation must be really cutting into your profits.
Oh, you're cutting into my profits. Come on.
She meets Denise, who says, "Come on and move in with me. You can pay me later."
You paint all these pictures?
Yeah, I paint them, but nobody buys them.
Then how do you eat?
I'm a sign painter.
That's the other roommate, Jill.
Was it hard to find? No, it was the first place I tried. Oh. Did you have to work topless? Of course not. I was hired because of my qualifications. Both of them?
Honey looks for a job, but just keeps striking out wherever she goes.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to turn.
She meets this guy, Roger, and picks him
You
up.
want that? I never would have thought you were the type.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Well, big boy, your place or mine?
So the other roommate, Jill, works at a strip club. Not as a stripper, though. Bartender, waitress. The stripper is played by Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Elvira ends up getting topless in this scene. Which I can't show you, unfortunately. But it's a very nice scene. She tries to convince Jill to be a stripper herself.
But not the desire. You could make a lot of money.
How much?
Well, I get $400 a week, but of course I'm a headliner. To start, you'd only get about $250.
That much for going bare-assed a few minutes a night? There's no justice.
Honey's man falls in love with Denise instantly.
I really don't want to leave. I have to.
Well,
I love you.
what?
I'd stay around for a while and get acquainted.
How can you fall in love with somebody in the dark?
I can.
No, I do not understand. I will not understand, and I don't want to understand.
Honey is less than pleased with the new situation.
That's my toothbrush.
That's tough.
And she decides
Sold me out.
to
Both
leave.
of you.
Honey,
The next day they go looking for her and find her sleeping on the beach.
honey, you got some answers to your ad.
Good enough to do something illegal for $10,000.
Possible new job here.
What do you want me to do?
Kill my husband.
How?
Running down with a car and then back over him a couple of times to make sure he's had it.
Well, she agrees to do it, however,
Idiot.
she ended up telling the police instead.
He already killed one wife, but he was out to get me too. You could have had $10,000. It would have been an act of mercy.
What is it you want to hire me to do?
A rich guy wants to hire her to be a companion.
Interesting. So I thought, why not try her out?
For what?
I want to hire you to talk to me
About what?
about life. Well, and we'll take walks and we'll eat together sometimes.
But that's the kind of thing you do with a friend, not with a hired hand.
And now, for the first time, introducing the newest tiger kitten of them all. Kitten Jill!
So Jill decides to try stripping. And although she's a little shy at first, she eventually gets into it and goes topless.
Nicholas Foley.
When her boss goes on vacation,
That doesn't mean anything to you?
Jill's in charge of the bar,
No, should
and a mafia guy comes for
Did he
his
say I've come to collect my money?
No.
monthly
Well, now
fee.
you know. So go to the safe and get me $2,000 and don't give me anything smaller than tens.
She's able to grab his gun, and then she calls her
Give him
boss.
that money, for God's sake, he'll kill you! What?
No, he won't. I got his gun away from him.
Look, that's even worse. Now give it back. Apologize to him quick.
Well, apparently that interaction really turned her on, because next thing you know, they're both naked in a pool.
Say what you mean. You want to know how I became a crook, huh? It was easy. I went into the family business.
Why?
Because it's a tradition in my family. We're all crooks.
Meanwhile, Denise, who paints signs for a living, is up high and she notices Roger, the guy that Honey brought home originally and is now with her, appears to be dealing with stolen diamonds, jewels.
Day off and I'll really show you the town.
Meanwhile, her companion, who's apparently worth $400 million, is still companioning with her.
I give up, Vernon. You've shown me enough of this town.
What do you mean? There's a lot of things you haven't seen yet.
Don't jive me, Vernon. You're trying to kill me because you can't think of something for me to do.
Honey does her homework on the side.
The hemp crop has been lousy this year, so there's got to be a shortage, and that means the price will go way up.
And finds an investment opportunity for him.
I estimate at least 100%, or maybe more. Here are the figures my estimate's based on. It's a publicly held company.
I guess the guy's name is Mike, not Roger.
I believe in total honesty, too. You live with a guy named Mike?
Why are you interested in him?
I'm not. He's your friend. So I thought you'd want to warn him. Some friends of mine are looking for him.
What did he do?
Don't you know? He's a fence. He does all right for a beginner. But you can't become a fence just by going into business. First, you have to be okay by the right people, which your roommate has never bothered to do.
Well, the bad guys do get a hold of Mike and beat the crap out of him. Jill tries to intervene. And then Mafia friend Nick intervenes on her. She's studying to be a lawyer.
Well, neither am I. But I like being around you anyway. I even told my family about you. We need a full-time lawyer to handle all our business. If you want, when you pass the bar exam, you come and work for us.
She's going to reject all of his offers and leave him.
And you did a great job for me.
I guess I get demoted back to stripper now, right?
Wrong. From now on, I'm taking it easy. How would you like to continue as manager?
Why not?
Let's have a drink to celebrate.
Her companion Vernon sends her $62,000.
Son of a gun.
He invested in that company.
It's real.
Could be hot.
And she got a finder's fee.
It's from Vernon.
Honey decides to leave on them with all the money for helping her.
By the time you read this, I'll have gone to look for Vernon. I have a new money-making idea for him. I'm sharing the money with you because you need it as much as I do, and because you were my friends when I needed you, not when you needed me. You know, I think I finally understand why Vernon reminds me of me. We both love to take risks, and I've got a couple of risks in mind for Vernon that'll ring his chimes.
All right, let's talk about The Working Girls. Never seen this movie before. I've been aware of it for a long time because I've had it in my collection for a long time. I've probably had the VHS for 20 years, although I never actually watched the movie. It came on those big boxes. It may have been Continental Home Video, I'm not sure, but I've had it forever. And I know I acquired it because I was collecting like movies that had celebrity nude scenes in them, and this is Elvira's only nude scene, so I had to grab it, but again, I never watched it, so there you go. Now, I finally watched it today. I learned it had a Blu-ray from Code Red on it, so I picked that up. And It's not as exploitative as I was expecting, honestly. It's probably would have been a forgotten movie had it not been for Elvira, Cassandra Peterson, in this movie. But it's actually not a bad film at all. It's actually pretty decent. There's some nudity in it, some topless scenes from all the ladies in this movie, the four ladies who have somewhat major roles in this. The three roommates, and as well as Cassandra Peterson and Elvira. They all have topless scenes. And it's basically about this woman, played by Sarah Kennedy. Her name is Honey in this movie, and she comes to LA. She's seeking fame and fortune, or maybe just fortune, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be interested in an actress role, but she has no money, and she's looking for a place to stay, looking for a job. She ends up hooking up with Denise, and Denise lives with Jill, so the three of them are living together. Denise works as a painter, sometimes does some nude or she paints nude models. Jill gets a job working at the strip club, and that's where we see Elvira. And Elvira says, why don't you get into stripping too? So she does, and it's okay with that, but she prefers other things. She's going to school to be an attorney, actually. So she ends up getting a job behind the bar as a manager, and she does real well there. So eventually the owner says, you can take over as manager, you don't have to be a stripper anymore. There's a side plot where they notice that, or Denise notices, she's the painter, that her boyfriend is like stealing money, or not stealing money, he's a fence for stolen jewels, diamonds, whatever. And then he gets beat up by some mafia guys. And then ultimately, Honey does get a job as a professional companion, not a hooker or a prostitute or anything. It's just a companion for this guy who's like worth $400 million. She ends up giving him investment advice, and he ends up giving her a finder's fee of 1%, which was $62,000. So Honey decides she's going to leave that money with her roommates because they helped her out when she had no money, and she's going to find her companion again and hook up with him and give him more investment advice, and I guess live happily ever after. The movie kind of abruptly ends at that point. That's it. So again, why is this movie remembered? For Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. She has a topless scene when she's dancing. She wears a G-string too, so you can pretty much see her butt as well. She has big boobs, so they're nice boobs. And actually, I think Elvira just came out like in the last years being a lesbian all these years, and we didn't know about it. So, but the guys were certainly gawking at her in this movie, rightly so. So anyway, that's it. It's The Working Girls. It's not a bad movie. There's an extra on here. There's an interview with the actress Lori Rose, who played Denise in this movie, and she is some sort of like exotic dancer now, much older obviously, but her name was like Mesmera or Mesmerelda, something like that, and she was showing off some of her dance moves in this on-camera interview she had there. But anyway, picture looks fantastic, much better than a picture like this should ever look. But again, it's a pretty decent movie. Now if you want this Blu-ray, it's going to cost you a little bit. It's not cheap, 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks or so, but it's not bad. So check it out. Leave some comments and know what you think about it. It's The Working Girls. Watch it. Bye.